You've seen the movies. You know how it goes down. Doomsday scenarios, huge motherships in the sky, beams of light taking people away. But what if it didn't go down like that? What if aliens contacted us tomorrow, not through an invasion or a cataclysmic event, but through a simple message, a hello? What would we do with that information? How would we respond? And most importantly, how would this change our lives? Welcome to my channel. And today, we're answering the extraordinary. What if aliens contacted us tomorrow? If we find ourselves in possession of one of the greatest discoveries in human history, we might want to take some time to absorb the shock. That's only natural. But before we get too comfortable with the idea that we are not alone in the universe, there are some big questions we need to answer. The first will be who's there to answer. When the call comes, we can only hope that it'll be through established channels. We don't want to be picking up strange signals from unknown sources and misinterpreting them as friendly. So let us say that a message has come through officially from an interstellar body that S made first contact. Now what? The next question is, why are they here? To find out the answer, we may have to take a look at how we got here. In 2020, researchers from the University of West Bohemia created an interesting simulation to see just how long it would take for life to evolve on a planet which is capable of building technology. Their findings were surprising. It seems that it would take between 40 million and 4 billion years for a civilization to develop. Given the vast distances involved and the fact that most stars are much older than our own sun, it seems likely that we're the youngsters on the block. So why are these visitors journeying all this way? Scientists speculate that there's a pretty good reason, and that's because traveling between stars requires an enormous amount of energy. So it is likely that any alien species that could achieve this feat would also have the capability to manipulate matter at a subatomic level. This means that there would be no real difference between the raw materials of their bodies and the matter around them. Basically, any alien that visits us would be able to turn itself into anything it wants and vice versa. Therefore, they wouldn't be coming here for resources. They'd already have all the resources they needed. So why travel all this way? Well, the answer seems to lie in something that we humans have plenty of: knowledge. It's been speculated that aliens would come here to study us, to observe our culture, perhaps even to learn our language. After all, given the billions of years that they would have had to advance past where we are now, it seems unlikely that they'd be interested in anything so basic as minerals or water. So we know why they're coming, but should we let them? There are certainly arguments to be made on both sides. On the one hand, what harm could they possibly do us? If they're advanced enough to travel between stars, then surely they're advanced beyond our worst capabilities. And it's not like we've been so great to each other, have we? Perhaps an alien perspective could help us to get over our differences. On the other hand, however, we have no way of knowing what their intentions really are. Would they view us as equals or as specimens? Would they want to dissect our society and its various systems, or see us as nothing more than lab rats? Truthfully, we simply don't know what to expect. And that's exactly why so many doomsday scenarios play out in our movies. While a more diplomatic approach may seem like the best course of action, it's hard to argue with the fact that the unknown carries a certain amount of danger. But let's remain optimistic. Let us assume that our new interstellar friends are well-meaning and only want to share their knowledge with us. What would we do next? Well, that depends on what they have to offer. First off, any alien species would be very different from us. This means that there would be a significant chance that whatever they have to offer would be utterly useless. After all, a species that is adapted to a world of ice wouldn't have much use for sunscreen and vice versa. However, there's always the possibility that they'd be offering something truly revolutionary, something that would solve some of humanity's biggest problems. But would we even understand what they were trying to teach us? Even if they came bearing gifts, it's highly likely that they'd also want something in return. Maybe they'd want to trade for resources that they can't acquire on their home world. Or maybe they'd want to exchange knowledge, learning about our development while sharing what they know about the universe. Either way, we need to decide how much we want to cooperate with these aliens. Do we want to set up embassies? Do we want to establish trade routes? And if so, how much cooperation are we willing to give? How much should we hold back? Will we keep secrets from each other? These are important questions that we need to answer sooner rather than later. If we do decide to cooperate with them, that is. Because despite the fact that these are hypothetical questions, we actually have a precedent for this situation. Between 1974 and 1986, scientists conducted the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or SETI experiments, at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. During this time, astronomers attempted to listen to radio signals being beamed towards Earth from space. They found nothing. But in 1979, they did receive an unusual transmission from a star system called Sigma Draconis. Scientists were excited. Could this be the breakthrough that they'd been looking for? But as it turned out, the signal was nothing more than a false positive. It was never repeated. Unfortunately, when the data was examined further, it became clear that this signal had come from a satellite that was orbiting our planet. Long story short, the signal wasn't extraterrestrial at all. It was man-made. While this particular situation ended up being nothing out of the ordinary, it did raise some interesting questions about how we should respond to possible future encounters. Should we send out a broadcast telling the galaxy about our presence? Or should we stay silent and hope that they find us anyway? According to Dr. Jill Tarter, the director of the Center for SETI Research at the University of California, Berkeley, we should probably keep quiet. She said, "It's better not to announce to the whole universe that there's a nice juicy planet over here with lots of stuff on it. In other words, maybe it's better to wait and see what they have to say." But let's assume that this meeting with aliens doesn't change much for us. So what then? How would our lives carry on as normal? Would we even notice the difference? In the grand scheme of things, it's hard to say. For sure, it would be a massive event. And yet, just as the Cold War raged on, seemingly without end, it's just quite possible that we would eventually just get used to the idea of aliens visiting from time to time. After all, what else would we do? The existence of extraterrestrials would be a reality that we'd have to live with, whether we liked it or not. And while it may seem scary at first, it would be exciting to know that there are other worlds out there waiting to be explored. We've only scratched the surface of our own planet, and there's still so much out there that we don't know. Just imagine what we'd be capable of if we put all of our efforts into space exploration instead of war or environmental damage. We could discover new elements, new planets, and even new life forms. We could learn so much about the universe and our place within it. Who knows what wonders we'd find if we weren't so busy tearing each other apart. But until the day comes when we make first contact, we'll just have to keep guessing. So what do you think? How would you react if aliens contacted us tomorrow? Would you welcome them with open arms or try to drive them away? Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content.